If you're a man over 60, you've earned wisdom the hard way. Through loss, through sacrifice, through decades of responsibility. And yet society keeps whispering the same lie. You shouldn't be alone. Here's the brutal truth. Loneliness is painful, but the wrong relationship at this stage can be catastrophic, financially messy, emotionally draining, spiritually trapping. I've seen it happen. One guy told me, "I thought I found peace. I lost my freedom instead." In this video, I'll share 5 brutal reasons many men over 60 quietly regret having a girlfriend. Reasons no one dares to say out loud. This is not bitterness. This is real talk. If you ignore these warnings, you could lose what took you a lifetime to build. But if you understand them, staying single may become the smartest decision of your life. Stay with me. Let's start with the first truth most men learn too late. Here is the first brutal truth no one warns you about. After 60, romantic relationships are no longer emotionally expensive. They become financially dangerous. When you were younger, you could rebuild, lose money, start over, work longer. Now, your savings are your time, your health, your freedom. And one wrong relationship can erase decades and months. If you ignore this, you could lose the financial peace you worked your entire life to earn. But here's the shift that protects your future. Single life preserves capital and control. I've seen it happen more than once. A man retires comfortably. Then comes the girlfriend. Suddenly, there are shared expenses, emergencies, guilt-based generosity. Helping becomes obligation. Obligation becomes expectation. One man told me, "I didn't mind paying at first, then it became assumed." Here's the danger most men miss. At this age, the legal and financial system does not favor emotional generosity. Cohabitation claims, shared assets, unspoken expectations. If you think love alone will protect you, you're gambling your retirement. But here's the calmer truth. Financial boundaries are not cold. They're survival. Stoic wisdom teaches this clearly. Seneca warned that wealth is safest when kept simple and guarded, not flaunted, not surrendered under emotional pressure. Ask yourself honestly, what if this relationship ends badly? What will it cost you, not just emotionally, but legally and financially? If you avoid asking that question, you may pay for it later. But if you stay single, you keep choice, clarity, and leverage. And this leads directly to the next truth, because money loss is painful. But the loss of freedom is far worse. The second brutal truth is this. A girlfriend after 60 doesn't take your freedom overnight. She takes it slowly, politely, and legally. At first, it feels harmless. You adjust your schedule. You explain your plans. You cancel a trip because it's easier. If you ignore this early, you will wake up one day asking permission for a life you already earned. But here's the shift that saves you. Freedom must be protected before it's negotiated away. One man told me, "I didn't stop doing what I loved. I just did it less, until I stopped completely." That's how freedom dies. Not with arguments, with small compromises that never come back. After 60, your time is not renewable. Your routines are not flexible like they once were. Your independence is not a luxury. It's your mental stability. If you sacrifice that for companionship, you may gain company and lose yourself. If you think you can always reclaim your freedom later, you're mistaken. But here's the calmer truth. Single life keeps your life yours. Marcus Aurelius warned that the man who depends on others for peace is already enslaved, not by chains, but by expectations. Ask yourself honestly, do you want to explain your decisions? or simply make them. If you dismiss this, you may trade autonomy for comfort. But if you stay single, you move when you want, rest when you need, and live on your own terms. And this brings us to the next danger, because once freedom fades, your health is usually the next thing to suffer. Here is the third brutal truth most men learn too late. After 60, a relationship doesn't just affect your emotions, it quietly reshapes your health. Your sleep schedule changes, your diet shifts, your routines, the ones keeping you stable, start bending to keep someone else comfortable. If you ignore this, your body will pay the price for emotional compromise. But here's the correction that protects you. Your health must never be negotiated for companionship. I've seen men stop walking in the morning, stop fasting, stop training, not because they wanted to, but because it caused tension. One man said to me, she didn't like my routines, said I was too rigid. Rigid or disciplined? At this stage of life, discipline is not obsession, it is survival. Your body no longer forgives inconsistency the way it once did. If you sacrifice your habits for harmony, the harmony won't last, but the health damage will. If you believe love automatically improves health, that's a comforting myth. But here's the Stoic truth. A man must guard his physical condition as a moral duty. Epictetus taught that we are caretakers of our bodies, not owners free to neglect them. When your routines disappear, so does your resilience. Ask yourself honestly, does this relationship make you stronger or softer in the places you cannot afford to weaken? If you dismiss this warning, illness will make the decision for you. But if you stay single, your health stays predictable, protected, and under your command. And now, we arrive at the next danger, because when health declines, emotional stress multiplies faster than you expect. Here's the fourth brutal truth few men want to admit. After 60, emotional stress hits harder than physical strain, and relationships are one of its most consistent sources. Arguments don't end quickly anymore. Tension lingers. Silence stretches for days. Your nervous system stays activated, even when nothing is being said. If you ignore this, chronic stress will quietly shorten your healthy years. But here's the correction that protects you. Peace is not negotiable at this stage of life. I've heard men say, it's not a big fight, it just never fully goes away. That's the danger. Low-level emotional pressure is far more damaging than rare conflict. Stress raises blood pressure, disrupts sleep, weakens immunity. And unlike work stress, relationship stress follows you into your home, the one place meant to restore you. If you believe companionship automatically reduces loneliness, ask yourself this: is being misunderstood better than being alone? If you ignore this question, resentment will replace affection. But here's the Stoic lens. Tranquility is strength, not isolation. Marcus Aurelius wrote that peace comes from ordering your inner life, not from managing the emotions of others. At this age, emotional chaos is not growth, it's erosion. Ask yourself honestly, does this relationship calm your nervous system or keep it on edge? If you dismiss this, your body will carry stress you no longer have time to recover from. But if you remain single, your emotional climate stays stable, quiet, and self-directed. And this leads to the next truth, because prolonged stress doesn't just affect health, it reshapes your identity and self-respect. This is the fifth and final brutal truth, and it may be the most dangerous of all. After 60, a relationship can quietly erase who you are. Not through control, not through shouting, but through adaptation. You soften opinions, you avoid topics, you shrink habits that once defined you. If you ignore this, You may wake up wondering when you stopped being yourself. But here's the shift that restores power. Self-respect must come before companionship. One man told me, I didn't notice it at first. I just stopped speaking my mind. That silence has a cost. When you edit yourself long enough, you forget your own voice. At this age, identity is not flexible clay. It's hardened steel, forged by decades of decisions. And once it bends, it rarely returns to its original shape. If you believe compromise always equals maturity, ask this: is it growth or self-betrayal? If you ignore this line, dignity will erode quietly. But here's the Stoic truth: a man who abandons his principles abandons himself. Epictetus warned that no one can take your character unless you hand it over willingly. Ask yourself honestly, do you feel more grounded in this relationship or less certain of who you are? If you dismiss this, resentment will replace respect for yourself. But if you remain single, your values stay intact, your voice stays firm, and your identity stays whole. And now we arrive at the final reflection: what a strong, independent life looks like after these truths are accepted. Let's be clear. This message is not about bitterness. It's about honesty. If you ignore these truths, you may trade peace for approval and stability for fear of being alone. But here's the reframe that sets you free. Being single is not a failure. It's a strategic choice. Companionship does not guarantee happiness. Many men feel lonelier inside the wrong relationship than they ever did living alone. What protects you now is different. Friendships built on respect, casual connections without entanglement, hobbies that sharpen the mind and body, community, purpose, contribution. If you believe a relationship will save you from loneliness, ask yourself this: what if it multiplies it instead? But here's the calm truth: a full life is built, not handed to you. Be honest with yourself. Protect what you've earned. If this resonated, share your experience in the comments. And subscribe for more real, unfiltered talk. Because strength at this age is choosing wisely, not following pressure.